I get it, you're standing in the kitchen aisle, scrolling through endless options, and the thought keeps popping up. I don't want to drop a ton of cash on a range that ends up gathering dust because it just isn't right for my cooking style. That hesitation is real, especially when you're looking at a professional-grade piece that runs on liquid propane. You want confidence that the burner power, oven space, and overall layout will actually translate into better meals, not just a shiny countertop centerpiece. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and that's the first step toward making a decision that feels less like a gamble. When I started digging into the Thor Kitchen 30-inch tilt panel professional liquid propane range, the first thing that stood out was the intent behind the design. It's built for people who treat their kitchen like a small restaurant. The tilt panel front isn't just a gimmick. It's meant to give you full access to the burners and interior for cleaning without having to crawl around a fixed front. That can be a game changer if you're the type who throws down a big stir-fry, wipes the splash zone, and wants the whole surface ready for the next round in seconds. It also means the range sits a bit lower than a standard drop-in, which can help with ergonomics when you're reaching into the oven or pulling heavy pans from the grill area. Who should really consider this Thor model? If you already run on propane, whether because your home isn't wired for natural gas or you've set up an outdoor kitchen and want a consistent fuel source, this range slots right in. The high-powered BTU burners are designed for rapid heat buildup, so searing a steak or bringing a pot of water to a boil happens in a flash. For families that love weekend barbecues inside during colder months, the ability to crank up the flame without worrying about a gas line limit is a solid advantage. The large oven capacity also shines when you're feeding a crowd. You can roast a 12-pound turkey on one rack and bake a sheet pan of cookies on another without feeling cramped. And if you enjoy experimenting with different cooking modes, think convection bake, broil, and even a gentle keep warm setting. The built-in commercial convection fan gives you that even heat distribution you'd expect from a restaurant's deck oven. On the flip side, this isn't the best pick for a studio apartment or a kitchen where every inch is already claimed by a dishwasher and a narrow pantry. The 30-inch footprint, combined with the tilt panel's extra clearance, can dominate a small layout, making it harder to move around. If you're renting and can't make permanent changes to your gas line, the installation hurdles could become a deal-breaker. Propane also means you'll need a tank or a fixed line, and while propane can be cheaper per BTU than electricity, you'll have to factor in the cost and logistics of refilling or swapping tanks. That's an ongoing expense that some home cooks forget until the first time they're halfway through a stew and realize they're down to the last few pounds of fuel. Let's talk practicality. The continuous cast iron grates are a highlight for anyone who grills frequently. Unlike removable coils that can warp over time, the cast iron stays flat, so you get consistent contact with your pans, and they hold heat exceptionally well. In real life, that means a skillet will stay hot even after you move it off the burner, perfect for finishing sauces without losing temperature. The multiple cooking modes are accessible via a simple knob layout, which avoids the confusion of digital touch panels that can be finicky when your hands are greasy. I've seen users set the convection fan to low for a gentle bake, then bump it up for a quick roast without having to reprogram a preset, just a tactile turn, and you're good. One hidden trade-off that's easy to overlook is the ventilation requirement. Because the range pushes a lot of heat and combustion gases, you'll need a proper hood that can handle the output. Otherwise, you might notice lingering odors or a buildup of moisture on nearby cabinets. The tilt panel design also adds a moving part, so you'll want to keep an eye on the hinges over time. They're sturdy, but any heavy use like opening and closing the panel dozens of times a day will eventually show wear. That's a maintenance point that doesn't appear on a spec sheet but matters once the range is in daily service. Where does the value actually come from? It's not just the headline 30-inch professional range. The real savings appear when you compare cooking times and energy use. Those high BTU burners can bring a pot of water to a rolling boil in under 3 minutes, shaving minutes off dishes that would otherwise linger on a lower-powered stove. The convection fan reduces bake times by up to 20% on average, meaning you can finish a holiday dinner faster and free up the oven for a second dish.